Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Season 5, Episode 7 of Bell to Bell with Bobby Blaze. I am your host, Precious Jeremy Vilmer. Why don't you tell them about it, Bobby?
Well, you don't like the way we drive? Stay off the damn sidewalks. Ha ha. Got a good episode lined up today, Professor.
We do, but for a sad reason.
Well, yeah. Oh. Yeah. I'm getting chills, brother. We're going to turn this into a good thing, though. Yes, for a sad reason. We're going to dedicate this show to the late, great animal. Road Warrior Animal passed away, as everyone's going to know by the time they've heard this episode. And we're just going to dedicate this whole episode to both Road Warriors in honor or in remembrance of Road Warrior Animal. Anything else about that, Jeremy? I mean, it's kind of a sudden thing. I think he just was on a vacation, a little mini vacation with his wife, celebrating an anniversary of sorts, and then one day you're here and one day you're not, kind of thing.
Yeah, what I read was he went up to take a nap, and then she went up to check on him after a bit, and he had passed away in his sleep.
Yeah.
I believe they declared it a heart attack. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I was waiting for the family statement, but that's about as close as I've come to what you just now said to it with everything I've read. So
yeah.
Anyway, our condolences to his family. And all of his friends, of course, and of course the millions and millions, I can imagine, fans from around the world, man, that they've impacted individually and as together as the Road Warriors.
Yeah, over the last 38 years.
Yeah. Wow, man.
We're going to just do some kind of brush up on some other things real quick, and then we're going to get into we're going to call it a top 10 list. I'm calling it 10 reasons why we love the Road Warriors. It's not really a top 10. Again, usually our top 10s are just a way to start and structure a conversation.
Right, and that's one of the ones, we was talking off the air, that's one of the ones where we actually have a legitimate, like this is number 10, this is number 5, and debatable on number 1, but this is who we went with. But this one here is just kind of like the give you the blueprint, if you will, for something for us to follow along with. So there might be 12 or 15 good things in here and a few stories along the way, too. So I think everyone's going to enjoy it. I know that. I know several people that are looking forward to this podcast. I know it seems rather short, but it's probably just the right time, man. We were looking back over some of our YouTube. Some people has passed away. We were doing YouTube before we came on the air, just kind of talking some numbers and stuff that concern all of you people out there. But anyway, the point is, I was like, man, some of these guys just aren't around with us any longer. And thankfully, Jeremy, myself, another great podcaster out there are keeping some of these great names alive, And that's what we want to try to do is honor the past, the guys that went up and down the 2-lane highways that put their mark on this business that we love called professional wrestling and sometimes sport. Anyway. Continue, Jeremy.
Yeah. We'll just keep going.
Yeah.
But one of the things I wanted to bring up real quick was perusing Twitter. Thursday or Friday. I don't remember which day it was. Somebody lamented the passing of NWA Power, and then the NWA champ himself, Nick Aldis, stepped in to say, guys, let me tell you, NWA Power isn't done. So I immediately tagged a handful of listeners and you and retweeted it, and Nick Aldis came back and retweeted my retweet. So somebody's working on some new NWA Power. What that looks like, what that means, we don't know.
Right.
But I'm pretty excited about that. Bobby, what are your thoughts?
Well, I'm glad you got a text back from him. That's always cool, I think. It looks like he has been staying pretty active on Twitter. It looks like they're working out. I know same thing with Thunder Rosa. She's out there hitting the road, staying busy too. Mm-hmm. I'm just thinking, man, something's got to be going on. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Let's just say that someone in the NWA is doing something and they do have some plans. I think we spoke off the air last week that we just wish something would happen good for them. Mm-hmm. We just don't know. We don't have any inside information is what I'm getting at, but we're, as fans, we're wishing the best for that company. And I see a lot of people posting stuff just like yourself, Jeremy, and myself saying, I was talking to a guy at the gym the other day, at 6:05 on a Tuesday night. I was getting used to that.
Yeah.
Your time would be like 9:05, I guess. I'd like that time even better than 6:05.
No, it's 3:05 here, so I didn't watch it till later.
Yeah. When you was telling me you was watching, it was like about 9 o'clock my time, I think.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Anyway, my bad on the time exchange there. But yeah, I like that. I was getting used to that, man. And hopefully they've got something good lined up is all I can say. Good luck to them.
Yeah, I did see that Royce Isaacs of Strictly Business got his release. That is a shame. Okay, so I'd been watching that guy for a couple years on Championship Wrestling from Hollywood.
Yeah.
And he would come out, he played this like rich asshole character. That was his thing here. But he would wear a shirt that said, say things like, I will deadlift you. And no.
You turned me on to him.
Yeah, no bullshit. It's a guy would be on the ground, and Royce Isaacs would fucking lift him right off the ground. He deadlifted guys into suplexes.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was just incredible to watch. Dalton Castle does that a lot with like gut wrenches and shit too, where he just snatches a guy right off the ground and picks him up. And we watch you guys do this, throw each other around, throw around other 300-pound men. It's really not doable without some assistance. Usually, you got to be strong as shit to move another man that weighs that much.
Yeah.
So somebody's going to pick up a hell of a wrestler here. I'm just sorry to hear that he got his release from the NWA. But as we discovered with Zicky Dice, that may not mean that their future's done with the NWA either.
Yeah, I'm thinking there's something to that. I really do. So anyway, it's just probably way behind the contracts role and things like that. Maybe he got his release for a certain reason, do some business with someone else, maybe travel overseas, but also be able to come back with them on a regular basis,
Yeah,
making appearances with them, but just not as a contract guy.
Yeah, that's the thing. These guys need to eat. The NWA is not a big money company. We've seen what they were paying certain people, so we know that these guys need to get out and hustle. This guy I'm going to mention right now, Trevor Murdoch, his shoot job is down right now because of COVID. His NWA job is down right now because of COVID. But he has a national title match against Shooter Stevens here pretty soon, so hopefully somebody gets that fucking belt off that guy.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah. And, anyway, with that going on, let's get back on to what we're going to be talking about today, and that's the Road Warriors. I think you want to drop in an anchor ad here if you don't care, so we can get that out of the way off the top of the hour. How's that?
I got a question, and then we'll do the anchor ad. Bobby,
please.
The movie The Road Warrior, Mad Max 2, is that a great movie, or is that the greatest movie?
Man, okay. In certain categories, I guess that is the greatest movie, but I'm just going to put it as it is a great movie, okay? That's where I'm putting it at. Where are you putting it at? Are you saying the greatest movie?
I'm going to go with greatest movie. Think about how that movie was made. All practical effects. Every one of those car wrecks is real. Minimalist story, but you don't miss a fucking piece of it as it goes. I mean, and that ending when he wrecks that truck at the very end.
Right.
And you realize what the whole scheme was the whole time. Holy shit, man. That's just like, it just kind of sends chills down your spine,
Fuck, you've convinced me. Greatest movie of all time, man. The Road Warrior.
Yeah.
Mad Max 2, The Road Warrior, from 1981.
It is part Western. It's part futuristic. It's part apocalyptic.
Yeah.
It's got everything in one movie.
Okay, I can dig it, man.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to take an anchor ad real quick, and then we'll be back. And we are back.
Man, you got a great voice.
Well, thank you.
You should do a podcast.
I should. I really should. You know what? That reminds me.
Good question, by the way. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. This December is my 5th anniversary of podcasting. One form or another.
Congratulations.
Yeah, one form or another. I've been doing this for 5 years now.
And that's how I met you, like about 3 years ago, I think.
Yeah, that'd be...
Coming up in February, it'd be like 3 years, I think.
Yeah, that'd be about right, because, Geekish Cast was a very different show. We did Geek News on Thursday nights, and then I did an interview over the weekend, and that could be a wrestler, an author, whoever,
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was a lot of fun. That's how we met, and that's how this show got started. Okay, so I'm going to start with a quick quote from Paul Ellering on Twitter, and he says, "Today we lost the engine of the train, LOD. Animal was a partner, warrior, and friend. He will be welcomed home by a waiting hawk." And that was Paul Ellering on Twitter on Friday.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome, man. I mean, I know it's for a sad reason, but when I saw that, I kind of popped. I was like,
Yeah.
it's paying some serious respect there, man.
Well, you know,
But then,
Bobby,
of course, you don't expect anything less than first class from Paul Ellering.
no, you really don't. You know, here's the thing. So the planet is roughly 4 billion years old, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Humans have existed for, we believe in the current form, somewhere between 250,000 to 1,000,000 years. Yet we got to live during the 40 years when the Road Warriors were wrestling.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Think in the grand spectrum there, how lucky are we to have been alive during this time?
Well, yeah, because we're like just a grain of sand out there in the damn
On a beach, yeah.
Yeah, on a beach, man, and we got to live that 40 years there. And you know, here's the thing. Not trying to put a funny spin on death, but Jeremy, seriously, it's fucking 2020, and we still got like 3 months to go.
Fuck.
I hope the fuck we're not doing any more wrestling deaths for any fucking reason. You know what I'm saying, man?
Yep.
This has just been one hell of a year for everyone. But like you said, we've got 40 years of Road Warriors, at least that much.
Yeah.
And hopefully they'll live on through the podcast, that we keep these guys' names alive. That's past, of course. And then through the video on YouTube and stuff, you can go back and see some of the talent that they were, you know. So, yeah, but damn, yeah, you're right, man. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, just the luck we have, just, you know, just to be alive to see that happen. Yeah, 2020, you know how I feel. I don't like to blame shit on the year because there's nothing really 2020 about this year, not necessarily. Yeah. But when I saw that Debbie Mazar had caught COVID, I was like, there is no God. But let's get on to the Road Warriors here.
Okay, yeah, I think you're going to tell us about the formation of the Legion of Doom.
Yes, we are going to cover that. So, over at Georgia Championship Wrestling, we had two guys who were in there, Mike Hagstrand and Joe Laurinaitis. And they were both kind of just floundering. And then Ole Anderson, the grumpy old bastard that he is, put them together to team with Paul Ellering because he needed a replacement for Arn Anderson and Matt Bourne. And they got the idea for these characters from the movie The Road Warrior. You know, painted face. There was the character Wes in The Road Warrior who wore the pads with the spikes and the face paint and the leather. Kind of based their characters off of them. One
of them suggested the other one, hey, I think it was Mike said, or Hawk said, you know, hey, why don't we get mohawks and Animal can get his like a traditional mohawk. I'll get mine shaved down the side so we can put our heads together, like plug into each other. And Ole said something like, you guys ain't right. But I also know a couple other guys from Minnesota that was pretty tough in their day, and they weren't right either. And so he just kind of, I don't know if he liked them or not, but he liked them enough. They still thanked them to the bitter end of putting them together and treating them pretty damn good. But them guys, man, they were, you know, wow, just to come up that face paint. At first, it just was going to be some, my understanding too, was just going to be like the Road Warrior movie, just some stripes here and, you know, some bars there and this and that.
Yeah.
And then I guess Animal came up the spider deal and went a little bit more full. And then Hawk did his, you know, from just that one flare over the eye to, you know, and the fucking, you know, like you said, the big shoulder pads, the spike dog collars, the spike wrist collars. Fuck, man.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, and you see their early matches. They come out, they got like a spike collar.
Yeah.
You know, wrists. I think they wrestled in like leather pants initially as well, right?
It looked almost like the biker type.
Yeah.
More like the biker type deal.
Yeah. So they'd hit the ring. They basically just had like kind of somewhere between Leather Boy and fucking post-apocalyptic armor, you know, some version of it. Yep. And their makeup, like you're saying, their makeup kind of got refined every time they used it until they got down to the point where you saw the makeup, you knew exactly what it was and what you were looking at. So they were teamed as the Road Warriors together. They were also in a larger faction called the Legion of Doom, which for people, I don't know, you might be young enough, old enough to remember the Super Friends cartoon by Hanna-Barbera. Mm-hmm. But the Legion of Doom was the bad guys on that show, Black Manta, Lex Luthor, and all those guys. So in the Legion of Doom, I think the only other members worth bringing up because, why wouldn't you? Jake the Snake was in there with them as well.
Mm.
So that's
he's always one of the ultimate heels.
Yeah.
Why not have him in that Legion of Doom, the bad guy character?
Yep. And then of course Paul Ellering would stand apart as a manager for the Road Warriors by actually managing the Road Warriors in real life, taking care of their flights, their meals, their money. I mean, just the whole bit. So every time he wasn't with them, is still a shock to me when you go back and you look at how often Ellering wasn't there, you know.
Yeah.
I guess they did an early story where they turned on Paul, but that only lasted like a couple months because they were together all the time. And there was just no way that was going to happen. Yeah.
I like the one thing. I know we'll get to some of their catchphrases later on, but Animal might start off an interview, you know, and he's doing his thing, and I'm not going to do any catchphrases right now. And he'd pass it over to Hawk, of course, and then you know, usually one would slap the other on the chest and say, "Tell him, big guy," or "Tell him, brother," you know.
Yeah.
And so, but if you watch some of those videos, and I caught on this years and years ago, and I always find it funny now that when you go back and you catch one of their interviews, you'll see Paul, he has that newspaper, but he's also slowly stepping further and further back out of the picture. Because whoever gets the microphone next is going to go, "Tell him, Paul," you know, or whatever. And they're looking like, get ready to give him a chop, but he's back there with the glasses and the newspaper, and he's stepping almost out of range just in case one of them does go, like, you know, out of character, or in character in this case, and gives him a chop. So he's always just like, you know, strategically placed in the interviews, if you notice that, as they went on, because you never know when one was going to chop the other and say, "Tell him, brother,"
yeah.
and say, "Tell him, Paul," and Paul would be like, you know, 2 feet away, reaching for the microphone, going, "Well, you heard my boys," you know. He'd go in his promo, but yeah, he'd step back up into it at that point. Just something goofy, man. You catch on too, because you know them guys went out there in the interviews and they got fired up, man.
Oh yeah, I mean, you could tell that they were in character and ready to go. I mean, maybe not as much as Macho Man, but close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to next, I think. Number 9 is Mike skills and catchphrases, right?
Yes.
We can jump into that. And I've already, well, you know.
There was no way I was skip. Yeah, there was no way I was going to skip trying to get that into the intro.
Yeah, absolutely.
But let's just cover some. I mean, you know, Hawk did the What a Rush, where he'd drag that out, which I think was actually taken from A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Okay.
Where there was like that scene where there were the heroin needles, and he says it after he kills that girl. But you know, he had What a Rush, which he would use throughout the rest of his career. It was how he closed just about every Mike session he did. Dine on danger, snack on death.
Yeah, that was always a good one.
Yeah, it sounds like a shitty meal and diet, but it's a tough thing to say. Often imitated, never duplicated.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Which is a fact. I mean, you know, we can talk about that Mike Mooneyham article here in a minute as well.
Yeah. I've got, you don't like the way we drive still off the damn sidewalk, but I saw one also. I hadn't heard this for a long time, but apparently it's one they used early on in their interviews, in like, I guess they're kayfabed, and they treat it like shoot interviews. And I guess they'd say, "We're the team that keeps the doctors in business."
There you go. Which
like that.
I understand these guys worked a little snug.
Snug, yeah, a little stiff maybe, but that's what people, you know, there's a little bit green coming in, I guess, but the promoter saw green, you know what I'm saying? They saw money in these guys, and I don't think it was till after the fact, from what I hear years later, even when, you know, people brought it up, they just changed the face of wrestling with those bodies, and when they got put together there, man, they expected to give it back as much as they got it too. That's the thing. They didn't, you know, they didn't care to take it. When they dished it out, but they were still learning, and they got to work around some great talent.
Well, that was the thing. Their size and power just made them credible to the point where guys were like, fuck it, just push them, just go.
Yeah. And that's kind of their formula: destroy everything that doesn't move. You know, just kind of get in there and kick ass, man. Destroying opponents with their raw power, basically. You know, that's what they did. Well, you got a couple more quotes there. Let's see. I think that was about it. I'm sure there's several more we can come up with, man. But those were the main ones, the Rudder Rush and the Well, Down on Danger, Snack on Death, one Toast.
They had a very distinct interview style. I mean, they were yellers. Don't get me wrong, man. They were yellers, but, man, they brought energy and power, and fucking you knew somebody's ass was getting beat the next time they got in the ring with somebody.
Oh, absolutely. And it was usually going to happen pretty quick on the TV tapings. You know, they just get in there, kick someone's ass, and get out. What'd you say?
Go ahead.
No, I thought you said something about that earlier, about the how they got there and cleaned house. You sent me, I can't remember what it was. We'll get to it, I guess.
Yeah.
Their matches last very quickly. For example, the Malkies. I told you a couple matches, 148, something like that. There's several matches with the Malkies on YouTube, and it just, most of that is just Iron Man and them coming to the ring. Then it's about a 25-second match out of the minute 48 that they got, that kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's
what it was.
Yeah, that was the thing. I mean, they were kind of the tag team version of Goldberg, really. They just come out, win.
Yeah.
There you go,
Yeah. I was going to mention, you mentioned Ellering being their business partner too. You said he helped them catch or book their flights and hotels and things like that. He also negotiated contracts, and back in the day, apparently he got, this according to Animal, he got them each $2,000 a night for a guaranteed 250 nights, and then Ellering was getting $1,000 a night for the 250 nights. So that's pretty damn good money, man. They getting pushed to the moon back then.
Yeah, it was not bad.
Yeah, not bad at all. And of course, I think they could manipulate their money over in Japan, and I'm sure they got huge contracts when they first stepped over to the WWE from NWA too.
Oh, I imagine, because they wouldn't have moved without the money.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah, you know what? That makes me wonder, because I know that Jim Cornette really managed the Midnights as well.
Yeah.
He took care of their contract negotiations. I wonder if other managers did that, or were they the only two? That's just...
that's an excellent question. If anyone out there knows it, send us some info on that. That's the only two I know of.
I'd be really interested in finding that out, because I know for the most part, managers were just mouthpieces.
Yeah. I don't know that the Grand Wizard or Bobby Heenan or, someone, just trying to think, even Freddie Blassie, I think they pretty much took care of themselves. And when they went in and stepped into the managerial role, I don't know if they actually managed any of those guys, once you got to that level.
Oh, see,
I'm thinking these two only, but I could be wrong.
No, you could be. I'm the only two I've heard of, but you know what? I haven't paid that much attention. I've never asked,
Yeah.
See, here's the thing. If I were managed by Freddie Blassie, I'd get pissed off every time I saw one of his jumpsuits. I'd be like, that's my 30%, motherfucker.
Yeah. Oh man, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Hey, let's bring these two up now, because I don't know where else we would put them in.
Okay.
But let's just talk about the first time you really got an impact watching the Road Warriors come to the ring. Just what a holy shit moment that was, because for me, they had picked Iron Man as their theme song, so you heard that before you saw them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that opening to Iron Man, you just know somebody's getting their ass beat. Then they hit the ring and clean house.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know the exact first time, but I saw them, early on. I'll say that. I won't say as early as 83. It could have been 84, and it could have been 83, but I'm going to probably say it's probably 84, and it was still AWA. They actually probably had been to NWA, but they came back because I tell you why. We got the Memphis tapes, and they had a match in Memphis with Lawler. Can't think who his partner was, but the biggest pop was, of course, when they came out, they got over. Huge, of course. And again, this match could have been, 84, 85, something like that. But when Lawler went to power drive Hawk, and he did it, and Hawk popped right back up and no-sold. Well, anyway, Lawler's turning around selling to the crowd like, I just power drove this big motherfucker. Mm-hmm. I'm over in this town, and he's doing his thing. And when he turns around, there's Hawk behind him, balked up on him. No-sold the fucking power driver in Memphis, and a fucking roof came off the place.
Oh, yeah.
That's one of my earlier memories. I saw them for the first time in person, probably 85 NWA. And I honestly, the first time I saw them was in Huntington, West Virginia, and I know I saw them in Charleston shortly thereafter, and then back to Huntington. So I saw them. They were just before I was in the business, and I remember trying to talk to them. Bobby Eaton was one of the first ones that ever talked to me from behind the curtain. I'd go to the edge there to get as close as I could, and Bobby's a super sweet guy, What do you expect? Hey, how are you, buddy? We just bullshit stuff. But the Road Warrior were there. No one was around, and I looked over, and Animal rather was popping up his traps, and he was just back there like flexing. Mm-hmm. And I just dumb kid really, and I said, hey, man, how you get traps like that? Thinking he's going to just spit at me or yell at me or Hawks can come over and slap me or something. Animal looks at me, dead serious, and he's just pumping up his traps. Now, I know Hawk's thrown for his traps there, but there's kind of warming up for a match, and Animal was doing them. He's imitating a shrug movement like you would in a gym. And he said, shrugs, heavy shrugs, kid. And I was like, damn, I never forgot that, do your shrugs, man, to make that big neck and them big traps, That's probably the first time I really saw him there. I saw him in Charleston. I want to say they fought the Russians in Charleston, but the show I got to really see him perform in was on I want to say it's had to be about 86-ish. And there was an NWA show on an Easter Sunday in Huntington, West Virginia. And they were in a tag match with the Russians. And I was with this girl, we'll just call her, Melanie, whoever. It wasn't very packed because of an Easter Sunday show. And it was an afternoon Easter Sunday show at that. They got into the ring. I don't know, it was 2 or 3 matches. And then they come, I don't know if they were main event, to be honest with you. They might have been semi-main. But anyway, Animal got sent into the ropes and the rope snapped. That's the first time I'd ever seen that. Now, I've seen it many times since then. But they were in there. They was probably working about 3 to 5 minutes, probably right time for the Russian to start getting her heat. And they shot Animal off, and the rope snapped, and he went ass over tea kettle, boom, right over the top rope. But he held on to it and grabbed it like you're supposed to. And when he hit his bottom of his back, hit that ring apron, he had a gash right there. I don't know how deep it was, but I know the girl I was with, and of course I just a fan all my life, but I knew that wasn't supposed to happen. And she said, that wasn't part of it, was it? Because she was one of them people that doubted,
Yeah.
And I was like, no, that's about as real as you get. And she goes, oh my God, he's hurt, because the way he sold, he was on the heel side when he fell out, which the side we were sitting on a ring apron, just happened to be on the ring side we was at. And Animal had to walk around to the other side. Well, I think as Ivan must have come up and kind of hit him in the back, like shoving him that away, like get over there. You know what I'm saying? They definitely wasn't going to break kayfabe, but he knew he had to get back over, because Hawk immediately jumped back in, and Animal just stood over pretty much the rest of the match. They finished the match with 2 ropes, but I thought that's just an early on memory of them. Some things, again, my years, you probably get them categorized there. Might be off by a year, a few months, give or take, but that's the first time I saw him in person,
Yeah.
Saw him on the old NWA, of course, and like I said, I got to see him they must only come to Memphis for a couple big shows. I don't remember how long or how often they were there, but I just know I remember seeing him wrestle Lawler, and might have been Lawler and Dundee. I honestly can't remember, but I just remember that big pop for the pile driver. That's probably might have been an AWA show, like I said.
Yeah.
That, like you said, man, they just come out there, that music played, and you knew, man, like in a matter of seconds, someone's getting their ass kicked.
Oh, Jesus. That no selling is such a dicey proposition too. Because, I mean, think about it. Us as fans, we see a no-sell sometimes, and we're like, fuck, that's badass. We see it again, and we're like, what a prick.
Exactly. Well, it's depending on how it's done and who's doing it.
Yeah.
These guys were doing it at a time that a lot of people didn't no-sell. You pretty much sold for whoever you're working with. And that's just part of the gimmick, man. They were just so big, so strong, so intimidating that, we're not selling. We're not selling tonight. We'll get to that a little bit later on.
Yeah, and Memphis protected that pile driver.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about this a couple of nights ago when I added that to the note there. I get these weird thoughts, different times of night and day and everything just seems so fucked up sometimes. I sit there and thought to myself, Lawler had to call that spot. Mm-hmm. He, you know what I'm saying? He's sitting there, and he knows how over that's going to get. And that shows what professional he is and a showman he is, that he's going to do that pile driver, that noted fucking, pile driver in Memphis, and then let someone no-sell it. He knows what's going to get over. You know what I'm saying? That's fucking awesome, man. But like you said, there's sometimes it's like, someone pops up out someone else's finish, and you're like, what a fucking piece of shit,
Yeah.
That ain't right, But that wasn't the case with Lawler and Hawk. Like I said, I sit there and thought some weird thoughts. Man, that Lawler, that's a hell of a spot, man. Put that in there.
Oh yeah, that's just he was one of those guys that Lawler was born for the wrestling business.
Oh yeah,
his instinct for it was just off the charts, and a pretty good artist too.
Oh yeah, sure is.
All right.
I saw something he drew something for someone just the other day. I saw Stone Cold. I think he drew something for his podcast the other day. I saw something about it. So he's a pretty damn good artist. What are we moving on to, Professor?
All right, number 8, Starrcade 1986, The Night of the Skywalkers, and we're just going to say and general scaffold matches in case we want to put anything else in there.
Yeah.
I remember the promos going into this, and I think AWA and NWA were promoting it for some reason. I want to say I saw it on both somehow, but I'm probably confusing two different sets of scaffold matches.
Maybe, but it could still be,
yeah,
could be true.
But going into this, they were taunting the Midnight Express with like dropping pumpkins off the scaffolding and shit. And I mean,
oh yeah,
the scaffold match was one that before you saw it, you're just like, oh my God, that's the craziest, most dangerous thing I've ever seen. Of course, ECW wasn't a thing yet, so.
Yeah, man, I tell you, to this day, I get scared watching them climb up there, man. I mean, that's a pretty fucking scary match.
Yes.
And when they're doing that training and they're climbing up there, I think when they got their jeans and their tank tops on, their Gold's Gym tank tops or whatever, muscle shirts, it just looks so fucking intimidating, man, And let's see, you got, I don't know, for some reason, I've never really spoken, as many times have I spoken to Bobby Eaton through the years, I never really brought that up. We may have talked about it one time, like we was in Vancouver at dinner and we were shooting those EA Sports videos or something.
Yeah.
I just kind of steered away from that for whatever reason, because it kind of still scares me. When I was talking about not being on Instagram and Facebook, and I know some of the things that trigger me sometimes.
Yeah.
And so just knowing that those guys are going up there and Cornette's going to jump, fall, not get caught, Bubba's moving, whatever the fuck it is, it's like I just was scared shitless, man. Like back in the day I would have done at least maybe a 10-foot scaffold match, but not a fucking 20 or 30-foot scaffold match, know. And I'm saying 10 jokingly because that wouldn't be a scaffold match. I'll do a 10-foot ladder match if both sides are secured. Hell, I ain't up here beside my house and clean my gutters. What's that tell you?
Yeah.
There was a time I would, but not anymore, man. I don't even want to climb on a top rope anymore, Jeremy, let alone a scaffold.
Yeah, no, heights are fucking scary. I know people like my kid can fucking climb a 90-foot tree without thinking about it, but I'm pretty sure he's got monkey DNA hanging out somewhere in there.
Yeah.
But you watch these guys up there and when they show the scaffold and you see it, it's a scary, scary idea. The problem for me with the scaffold match is it's kind of like leaving a loaded gun in the ring. Somebody can't pick it up and shoot a guy. You know what I mean?
Right.
The scaffold match, the only time we've ever actually seen somebody take a really nasty scaffold fall was New Jack, and he's a fucking psychotic dickhead who was trying to murder a guy in the ring,
Yeah. I saw that. I'm just wondering how the fuck he didn't get put on charges for that. I think he was maybe or whatever it was, but part of the thing. But fuck, that's just crazy, man. He could have easily killed that guy.
Yeah, and according to him, he was trying to.
Yeah. I just that's one of those things I was getting at when I said I'm not on Twitter or Instagram or something, or Facebook rather. Like I know the triggers of sometimes I can see a picture and my heart rate goes up or my anxiety level goes up. And so, yeah, it's just kind of one of those things like, oh, man, I enjoyed I think I watched two videos, and the one where they're standing on up on a roof rather, and they're throwing in pumpkins down there playing Iron Man, it's one of their promos. I really enjoyed that, but when just around the scaffold, I get nervous, man, even knowing the outcome of it. So
yeah, I
just watch my trigger points is what I'm getting at, I guess. It's
not
you. It's me, honey. It's not you.
Yeah,
that's what I'll say.
No, that's totally fair. But yeah, the whole blow up or going into this thing, and then the name of it, the Night of the Skywalkers, everything about it, looked badass as you were getting ready for it. I mean, they did a good job promoting it and getting you ready for it, and I don't know if there were two better teams you could have done this with, because you got really one of the best working teams in the world and the most intimidating team in the world,
Yeah.
So, but
and the way you put that just now, let me say this real quick. If you got, I put back yesterday, I went back and put it out on a YouTube channel. Tex, who passed away, we dedicate the show to him a couple weeks back, Tex Johnson. He's got this video channel, and Jeremy and I was talking about this a little bit off there. If you go to tinyurl.com BB video, or just go to YouTube and look it up. We got our top 10 tag teams, and we've got the Road Warriors listed as number 2 and the Midnight Express listed as number 1. Well, that's because it was our favorite, and that's pretty much who everyone agreed that we was going to have as number 1. That list could have been, any number of the top 5 teams could have been number 1 probably, or number 2. That's just the way we put them. But like you said, you got one of the most best working teams out there on that scaffold, and one of the most over of all time tag teams out there on that scaffold, as far as intimidation and fighting and just that look, you know.
Yep.
But yeah, the videos that Tex put together for that, go back and check those out. If you're new to the program, go back and check out that YouTube channel. I think you'll like our top 10 tag teams. And if you question why the Road Warriors number 2, it just came down to a decision that Tex, myself, and Jeremy and a few other people said, hey, the Midnight's our favorite team, so we put them up there, you know.
Yep.
No disrespect to any other team on that list.
Here's the thing. If we had recorded that episode 3 weeks later, it could have been a different list.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And we've said this. I was just telling my brother this a couple of weeks ago. We have left this open before on our top 10. Some of them are open, and we can go back and revisit some of those.
Yeah.
You know, we definitely could go back and revisit some of those top 10s in the future, you know, especially if the fans want to give us some feedback. I'm on Twitter at Bobby Blaze 744. The professor, Jeremy, he's at the Geekish Cast, and there's a joint account on Twitter, Bell to Bell Blaze, and there's also a Facebook group on there, Bell to Bell Blaze. But yeah, if you'd like to see us revisit one of those, we've got enough for the next couple. We've got several good episodes. We've improv 2 of these episodes for this season. Once we had Ron Fuller a couple of weeks back, we had to get him on here. We couldn't pass that up. And then now with the sadly passing of Road Warrior Animal, we put this one together today. But we've booted back a couple. But anyway, what I was getting at, if you have any other things that you're a new listener and you haven't, you know, seen our top 10 tag teams or went and visited the YouTube channel or haven't heard that episode, we may do it again. Like you said, 3 weeks difference on that episode. It could have been another team. Even our legit tough guys. And those, you know, there's probably 5 on there that probably never change as the toughest, you know, top 3 to 5 guys ever in the business. But there's probably some other guys coming along that can make easily make the top 10 now, you know.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, those are a lot of open-ended. We can go back and revisit sometime just for our newer listeners. If you haven't, though, go back and listen to some of those episodes. Someone wrote us just the other day where I know they wrote me, and I think you told me someone else told you they went back and are catching up on all the episodes. That's always good to hear.
Yeah, I think it was the fellow that's up in Ottawa or something. I don't remember who it was.
So. That's exactly who I was thinking of. Ottawa Championship Wrestling. I think he used the actual Florida, state Florida thing that we had on our graphic, if I'm not mistaken. That's kind of his avatar or whatever, if that's the same person I'm thinking of.
Yeah, that's the guy.
Out there, I know who the hell you are, buddy. He bought 2 of my books, and I appreciate that very much. I'm just drawing a blank on a name, but I know exactly who it was. Yeah, he went back and caught up on a bunch of episodes. So that's my damn point, Jeremy. Go back and catch up some episodes, because here what I'm doing right now is doing this. I'm doing what the Road Warriors known for. I'm getting there, wrecking shit and leaving.
There you
We're on
go.
number 7, man. That's what I was trying to spit out, number 7, while I got to look down there. I said, well, I can't say it now. Something you wrote, Jeremy, and I was like, get in, wreck shit, leave.
Yep.
And I couldn't say it because I was like, that's one of the actual topics. So there's number 7, and that's that Road Warrior pop, man. It was like nothing else. They still refer to it today as far as I know in the business. Oh. And I don't think anyone ever comes close to that Road Warrior pop that they used to get.
Man, I don't know, the roof just comes off the place when they get introduced, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, seeing them wrestle was fucking incredible, because before them, a team like that didn't exist. This was a new thing, you know? Yeah.
I've heard Animal say this before. They changed the face of wrestling from the nights that, you know, a guy would get, no disrespect to anyone in the business, just saying, when they started making, they were money, you know, the promoter knew that. They said they changed the face of wrestling in the fact that, you know, it wasn't some local guy that would get $50 a night and a 12-pack of beer. They changed that. You know, we're making money. We're going to, you know, they're changing the business. But they had you had the physique. That's the first thing you see. Like, yeah, you got the face paint, but you see how friggin' big they are, huge they are.
Yep.
With the size, and you know that strength, they were strong. Animal had that powerlifting, solid base foundation. Hawk had that big, strong, bulky, but still cut enough for like a bodybuilder type physique. And they just matched up so good, man. When you saw that, you heard that music, you saw the spotlight on them, you saw them out in the ring just doing their thing, wrecking shit and leaving. I mean, it was just over.
Oh, yeah.
That's probably, if you took a silhouette of someone down a back alley, that's not someone you want to see on the far end of a back alley.
No,
and if
absolutely
you've got 20 people behind you, you probably still don't want to see those two fuckers standing down in that alley. You know?
No, because you know what? Because they're going to take out 80 without a problem.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yep.
Well, yeah, and, you're talking about their strength. Like, think when they'd hit the ring, and we'll just use the Mulkeys as an example, because even though I don't know of a specific, I'm sure it happened where, but they'd hit the ring, you'd see a couple punches, kicks, and the next thing you know, man, cold snatch, military press over the head.
Yeah.
And that just, I mean, that kind of strength to move a human body around like that is really something.
I know Animal, he had a 600-plus bench press. I don't know what it ended up being, at like 660, maybe something like that. He had a legitimate 600-pound bencher. But he also, at one point, he was doing reps with 500 pounds. I'm not sure if both of them could do 10 reps with 500. Rumor was that Animal could do 10 reps with 500 pounds, so I'm sure Hawk could probably be pretty close to that, if not there, too. That's just a shitload of weight to be moving, man.
Yeah.
The military presses, I saw pictures of them doing like 315. There used to be two brothers from out in California, the Barbarian twins, that was known for their strength and size and all the heavy weights they used. And they used to be able to do behind the neck presses with like 315. And I've seen footage of the Road Warriors doing the same thing, 315 pounds, behind the neck presses. Hell, they had the bench press contest with the Powers of Pain. They used real weights on that. They weren't gimmicked weights, That's how one of them ended up getting injured. Barbarian blew his pecs out, bench press and all that weight. But they did that where they attacked each other. It was Warlord and Barb and the Road Warrior, and they was doing those bench press contests. I mean, they was using real fucking weight out there,
Yeah.
But I couldn't tell you countless guys, like you said, just use the Mulkeys, just pick them up out of that press slam and just press them, do like a monkey slam out of really a gorilla slam, if you will. Just pick them up out of nowhere, snatch them up over the head and do a couple reps and drop them. Fuck. And them guys were out there willing to take them bumps like that, too.
Yeah.
They're just giving their body. I've seen them mention the Midnight Express. One of them, Dennis, I guess, shot one of them off. He went straight through the ropes, and Bobby got him and slammed him and suplexed him on concrete. No different than the Road Warriors. The two matches I watched, I swear, I think one of them was 148 and one was 145. It was one of them was like a house show footage, and one of them was a TV taping. And I don't know which one Cornette was commentate, but he was putting the Mulkeys over, of course. So it might have been for one of the bashes or something. But I mean, like I said, by the time the Warriors' music hit and they hit, the whole thing was about 25, 30 seconds. But in there, of course, one Mulkey got picked up way over the head, like you're talking about, for the slam. The other one's outside the ring, shit canned, and boom, there's a finish or whatever. But yeah, those guys just changed the face of wrestling, man. Physiques, people realized, and that's the thing that a lot of people, and maybe I don't even understand this to the extent of how well it's done. Guys that size, and they could move. We kind of talked to Ron Fuller about that. The way he moved as a big man, he was doing arm drags and drop kicks and flying head scissors. But the Road Warriors, they had that big no sell for one, but they also could move when they hit the ropes. They did power slams. When they hit the rope, when they hit the ring rather. In fact, whenever they either walked down halfway and started running or rode the bikes down and got off, they were fast getting in and out of the ring. They done their shit like what this one's called: get in, wreck shit, and leave.
Yep.
They were fast at doing that. I'm not saying go out there and run a marathon, but by God, they can get out there and go, nonstop for that boom, bada, boom, boom, boom that you got to get your shit in and wreck it and get out of there. They could move. They had work. They had showmanship and strength muscles. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. They just weren't two muscle heads that couldn't move at all. They could actually move. And like you said early on, maybe they might be a little bit stiff or snug with people. But as Animal said, they got to work with Ric Flair and the Four Horsemen, and they were willing to learn. You know what I'm saying? They was with a lot of talented guys early on.
Yeah.
That also, of course, Ole and the promoters wanted to see them make it. They knew they was going to make it. I think you're going to talk about that in just a second about paying their dues, and I'll let you talk about that part. But the fact that they were willing to learn in there, whoever they was working with, because I'm sure there was times that they didn't get to work a lot with. I don't think they got to work a lot with work with Dusty. That wouldn't be a good example as far as he teamed with. I'm trying to
Yeah.
think. Just people that's in there that's willing to just tell them, hey, slow down, slow down. Do this, guide them a little bit, if you will. And once they got that, I think they really caught on as to how this business works. These guys this is not my enemy here. This is not, probably the best example of that'd be, honestly, the Midnight Express once again. They got in there and worked with them. You know what I'm saying? They worked with those guys. Knowing that Bob Eaton's out there going to put his body on the line and take bumps for you, you don't have to hit me so hard, brother. Just put your hand there and I'll be gone for you. Not saying Bobby said it that way. I'm just saying, when you got them guys saying, you don't have to punch me, man. Just do this, slam me. You know what I'm saying?
No,
anyway, go ahead. I think you got a kind of a counterpoint to what I was getting at is when the promoter sees money and they were making money. What about that? Tell me the opposite of that.
Plus or minus, however you want to work it out. Yeah. They were, and I would imagine there are probably guys that worked with them who are like, fuck, these guys just started. When I was this far in my career, I was carrying everybody's fucking bags and losing to every Tom, Dick, and Harry I was put in the ring with. These guys come in and fucking dustbuster the rest of us with they're stiff as shit. They don't know what they're doing. I could see that. I mean, I don't know how bad backstage politics would be around this time, but I could totally see that. Yeah. But, let's face it, man, wrestling's a business, and the promoter's going to do what's good for business, what's good for them,
I agree to that to an extent about paying their dues, but that's the thing. That the promoters saw money. Mm-hmm. They were money. The only thing I read was, again, just the other day was one of the interviews, some of the stuff we went back. And that's the great thing, Professor. You come up with all these notes, and we get these leadways and segues. We get to go back, and if there's available, we get to watch some video footage of interviews or read a particular article about who we're researching that week or whatever. And one of the things I was reading is Animal didn't feel like, no one said it to their face, that's for sure, he said. But it wasn't to some wrestlers come out with their own books. Then a few people, had some insecurities and stuff saying, hey, these guys didn't pay their dues or whatever. Yeah. But it was probably guys they already had heat with over something else anyway, And it was many years later because, like I said, they obviously didn't bring it up back then because anyone that was working with them probably made some money, you know what I'm saying? They drew houses, and that's when they was making money off the houses. And, of course, they got to go to AWA and NWA and WWE. So, like you said, you wouldn't be leaving unless you're getting a bigger check somewhere else and you're working a program with, a bigger name or what have you. Yeah,
well, that's just it. It's not like they ever switched territories because they were in disgrace and needed to go work in Canada or something. They switched territories because there was money to do it, Yeah. And as we'll get into this a little bit later, but, Hawk toured the shit out of Japan because he was a big payoff over there, And they were as a team as well, but Hawk worked with two teams in Japan. Yeah. And also I always remember freaking out the first time Hawk got a title match against Ric Flair. I was like, what? Wait, because, back then especially, I'm like, why is a tag guy getting a world title match? Yeah. But that's still, you put those guys in the ring, you're drawing fucking money, and that's why. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that goes with number 6 here. Let's just go right into it. The fans just wouldn't turn on them. They were over where it is at, whether it's face or heels. The fans would not turn on the Road Warriors.
No.
No matter what they did. And that's our number 6 reason. We love them so much right there.
Yeah.
Go ahead and talk to them about what they turn with Dusty.
Yeah.
I'm trying to read my note over here, Jeremy. I'm sorry. I got stepped away from my computer just a hair, and I see American Dream. I gotta wipe my glasses off.
That's not a problem. So they were working on turning the Road Warriors heel. I don't know if somebody was feeling they got stale or whatever reason they were doing it. They even went to the point they had the Road Warriors turn on, attack Dusty Rhodes with a spike, cut his eye open, and the fans still wouldn't turn on the Road Warriors. Okay, and we're talking
Dusty Rhodes, people.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, we're not talking like just somebody here. We're talking about Dusty, turning on Dusty and cutting him wide open, and still the fans like, no, we're cool with it. No, it's okay.
Maybe we as fans were too damn scared Too
Could
damn
be.
scared to turn on them.
Little
If
Stockholm
I don't
syndrome.
like them, they won't like me, and they'll fuck me up. So
Yeah,
the
but
fans were too scared.
yeah, because even when they were first introduced as heels, the fans were still for them. I guess it was a match against the Russians where they officially turned face because they came out on their bikes with the American flag and
Yeah,
whole fucking place went ape shit. And I think that was their first like face appearance. But yeah, from then on, man, the fans just did not take them as the villainous side. They do whatever they want, and fans are still with them. And
like you said, face painted ass kickers.
Yep, that's it.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, so, that was just as I was going through the list of stuff that I was looking for, because I found a few different things about times they tried to turn them heel and it just didn't take. That one to me was the one, because if you can attack Dusty, if you can attack Dusty Rhodes and the fans don't turn on you,
yeah,
it's settled.
Right.
That's all there is.
They're over. They're over. And speaking of over, I'm gonna go on to number 5 here. If you get this, it's over. That's the doomsday device.
Oh, shit.
Man, I'm going to tell you what. Here's another little inside story. I never wrestled the Road Warriors. I got to meet them several times. Once I got into the business, I told you a little bit back in the that's more mid-'80s when I met them or saw them as a fan.
Mm-hmm.
But once I was in the business and I broke in 88. Officially, I broke in September 11th, 1988 was my first match way over in Hayside, Virginia. That was an NWA show, actually. A promoter over there booked it as an NWA show and had several NWA guys on it. Anyway, the Road Warriors, Doomsday's Device. I know several people that took this, okay? Mm-hmm. I'm proud to say I didn't take it. And I'll tell you what. But I had a chance to. And I went and done, I wrestled Piper and Nord, a couple other matches here. And I went to they asked me if I want to go to Indiana, Fort Wayne, Indiana, and like Bowling Green, Ohio, Toledo, Ohio, some places like that to do some TVs. And I had already went to the ring with, I sometimes get these mixed up. I worked with Kerry Von Erich one night. Tito Santana was El Matador the next night. But I was in the locker room and I was talking to Barry Horowitz. And this was before Barry and I became closer, like I mentioned before, in WCW, because this is a WWF show. I want to say it's the one in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And I'm in the back. I've already wrestled, like we'll say El Matador that night or whatever. I'm talking to Barry. Tony Gurria come looking for a couple guys to wrestle the Road Warriors, okay? Now, I already knew I got paid a little bit extra. I wrestled Piper at first time. They asked me to go back out, and I wrestled Nord. Well, they gave me extra money. Well, I mean, we're all about making the money or whatever.
Yeah.
But Tony Gurria come in, and he said, we need someone to go out here against the LOT. I just sit there. I was untying my boots. I'll be honest. I'm just looking down at the ground, untying my boots.
Nobody look at me. Nobody look at me.
Nobody look. I'm invisible over here, man. So Barry is standing right there, and I think they've already got him, they've got him enlisted. He may have been on contract at that time or whatever. But I never forget there was several guys from the Tennessee territory, from the Memphis, that was under guys down there that was up doing the TV. I don't know what happened to this guy, bless his heart. I remember a guy named Ben Jordan. He wasn't all that big, real nice looking kid though. And they grabbed him. When Tony asked me, I straight up said, no, I've already worked tonight. And he goes, you wouldn't want to go back out there? I said, no, sir. I mean, I pushed that. I ain't gonna lie. And when I told a couple of my buddies this when I come back home, they said, you got a chance to wrestle Road Warriors? You said no. And I said, you damn right I said no. I mean, I was still green then too, but I could just imagine him. I kept seeing, I saw this guy, Irish guy from New York. He's an Irish guy with red hair. Maybe Pete Doherty, taller guy, used to do TV from New York. I saw them drop him on his fucking head one time, man, and that stayed in my memory forever. And this is a short-lived time, from him doing that to the time I'm in Indianapolis or Fort Wayne or wherever I'm at. I'm telling you, man. And that Ben Jordan boy is about, he's probably 5'9", 5'10", I don't know how to. And it was him and Barry. And I remember them taking him up for that. Of course, they lifted him like it's nothing. And doing that big-ass, I was like, well, that could have been you, but it wasn't. And I was so thankful. And I remember Barry coming back in. He said, my God, them guys were like in there shooting. He said, I know how to run the ropes, but they're just pushing me off like the shoot. I was messing up my steps. They're just pushing me so damn hard, It's just funny. But I was like, yeah, I'm glad I never took that, because I think that other guy's name is Pete Gorder. I saw he like 6'7" or something. They took him up and dropped him and didn't hurt him. Don't get me wrong. Definitely not intentional, not like that. But I just saw the way he hit, and I thought, man, oh, man, I don't want to be that. I don't even know if they called it back in, if it's Doomsday Device. I just knew it was called a finish, and I didn't want to take it.
Yeah.
And I don't think Guerrero was really one way or the other. He was just there as the agent, and he come in looking for a couple guys. And actually, that Ben Jordan may have already volunteered. I don't know. But I was taking my boots off. I didn't know nothing, didn't know no one. And I'm invisible over here. No, sir, But,
I got gout. I got to get this boot off. I got to get out of here. I mean, I'd do it. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I'm not afraid to wrestle the Road Warriors. That's not it at all. It's just my toe. No. My toe is killing me.
Yep. It was just, that's the truth, man. So, but in all fairness, several years later, even before I got to WCW, I had went to several of their shows, had backstage meetings, once with Kevin Sullivan, once with Terry Taylor. But I had went to, I had already talked to Kevin in Knoxville, and I had to go to Toledo, as a matter of fact, Toledo, Ohio. And I went there to speak with Kevin in person. Paul Orndorff and I had talked to each other over the phone, and we couldn't work out this search situation, behind the curtains kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And so I went and talked to Kevin. And when I got there, I wasn't even on contract yet, but I got there. Road Warrior and Animal was two of the first guys I saw. They just got in from the gym, and very, very polite, very courteous, very professional. They was actually on their way out. By the time I got there, they had already went to New York at that time, But the times I did see them in the locker room for WCW, they knew, hey, Bobby, how are you? We spoke, you know what I'm saying? Now, did we go buddy? No, nothing like that. And just kind of to back up the other story, after I went to Indiana tapings or what it was, I went to Florida in that following January. And I went to like Daytona Beach and went to Fort Myers and Tampa, wherever. But I went to this is embarrassing to tell you this, but I mean, it's no secret. Look at their physiques and look at mine. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I went to the Powerhouse Gym in Daytona Beach. And I got there apparently with signing. You could go to pretty much any Gold's Gym or Powerhouse, and if you worked for Turner or for Vince or whatever, they generally, you sign your name to let you in. At worst, they're going to charge you like $5,
Yeah.
But where I knew Barry Horowitz, he always told me, go to this gym. These are free ones. So I knew. So, dude, I went to the Powerhouse Gym in Daytona Beach, and I see I'm with the WWF, and I was there for a couple of nights, going to do some shows, And the guy looked at me, and he wasn't much bigger than me, nothing like that or anything. And he goes, "You're at WWF, huh?" I go, "Yeah." He looked up, and there was Road Warriors. The Road Warriors were standing over left and right, and they had just gotten there, I guess, 5 or 10 minutes before I had gotten there. And he goes, "So you mean to tell me you're with those guys?" And I went, "Yeah, same company, not with them." He goes, "Man." And he goes, "Just sign your name here." I go, "What do you mean?" I go, "Look at them guys." I said, "I'm just here for cardio or something." I just blew it off like, But he's like, "You're there with those guys?" And I'm like, "Yeah, but not really." I didn't know him very well back. That's what I'm saying. I'm still doing the TVs back then. But the guy, I think he had a hard time distinguishing between a guy that weighs 6'1" and weighs 210, 220 to the guys that are like 6'1", 6'2", and weighing 280 and 300 pounds. You know what I'm saying? There's a big difference when those guys walk into the gym and you say you're employed with the same people. You're like, maybe not. Maybe you're trying to sneak in here, kid. But I wasn't. It's just funny to think about. Them guys had the real physiques. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, hell, go on, Jeremy. Talk to me. I'm not taking the Doomsday Device there. Let's go to War Games. Get me off these stories out of my head, man. Go to War Games.
All right. So War Games is this is in here because this is just a match you got to watch. I mean, I hate to spoil it. The ending sucks a little bit, but that's okay. That's not what's important, because when the babyface team comes out, that's what matters. And it's Dusty, the Road Warriors, and Nikita Koloff as his first time out as a babyface, replacing Magnum. and the fucking audience just goes batshit, like lions fighting over red meat. I mean, they just go fucking nuts. And, you know, these four guys go in and it just start beating the living shit out of the Horsemen and J.J. Dillon. You know, it's just something to watch. It's one of those matches you got to see. It's, you know, this is what the WWE was trying to recapture with the Elimination Chamber, was this kind of match. You know, War Games, they tried to do it a few times. I think this first time here, it blew it off from the start, and there's no touching it. So it's one I think you got to go back and watch. Bobby, what are your thoughts on it?
Oh, I agree. And we've spoken about this on previous podcasts before, too. And I think there's some of the match. The match itself is on YouTube, and I think Tex actually took some footage and put it into one of ours, some of our videos as well, when we're talking about it as being one of the greatest matches of all time or something like that. I'm not sure exactly how we labeled that. And really, that's all we wanted to kind of say about War Games, is go back and watch that match. But what I was getting to, Jeremy, I had to kind of sidestep there so you can get that one in, was when I was at that gym in Florida, I had on my Zubaz pants, and I had a fanny pack, and I had a sweatshirt, the neck cut out, and I had a mullet, okay? That's number 3, Zubaz pants. So, yeah, I was at the gym with the Road Warrior. They were in their own world over. Like I said, they had already been over there. They got there 5, 10, 20 minutes before me or whatever. The guy's looking at me and looking at them and thinking, are you with them guys? You know, say you're weighing like 210 or 215. But by God, I had my Zubaz pants on. I had my fanny pack, my tank top on, but underneath of my big sweatshirt that I had the neck cut out of. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
I got to be all Mr. 90s guy wearing my Zubaz pants, and I had that mullet, baby, you know.
Bobby, did you have your left ear pierced too?
Not at that time. I did when I was in college, but that's a different time.
Oh, okay.
No.
I was just seeing if the uniform was complete, you know, as you leave.
I did for a long time. In fact, I probably still got my ear. I had it double pierced on my left side. I think the bottom was probably still open, to be honest with you, because I had it pierced for a long time. So I may have even had a feather earring in that day, Jeremy. I don't know. But I probably did.
Roach clips.
And I had my gold cross necklace on, right? You're going to go there probably.
Well, how about your mini truck? Was your mini truck there?
It was teal green. No.
Damn, you don't get more 90s than that.
No.
So
that's number 3, man.
I didn't realize Zubaz was still around. I'm on their website right now. I didn't. They got the same pants, Bobby. I am. Okay. I thought you would have to build a time machine to get these things nowadays.
Yeah.
That is just such a crazy of that moment thing.
Right.
So I was never really a big weightlifter. I'd always been a karate guy, punch and kick guy. So when I did lift weights for a year or two there, I'm talking, it was low weight and high rep.
Yeah.
You know, I would do half as much as I could, but I would do 20, reps of it every time, then 3 to 5 sets.
I got you.
Yeah. So I was
never, man, you put on the inside.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to hit you like an iron ball on a chain, not pick you up over my head. I wanted to keep you as far away from me as I possibly could, is what it came down to. Yeah. So this was never the look that I went for. I was always black track pants and a t-shirt, but that whole thing you described there, these bufferilla guys look like a shaved gorilla. And, they got their sweatshirt on, and the armholes are about 16 feet around, and their necks cut out to the point where their trapezoids, which touch the side of their ears, are just banging out of there completely. They got these big weird-ass pants, and you gotta have the fanny pack, because otherwise you got no place for your warrant tape, or your key ring and a picture of your mom and Jesus and all the other stuff, and your wallet that you might carry, and you had to have it. And the other thing that always cracked me up about Zubaz, Vince McMahon tried to launch a competing clothing line.
What was this called? Do you know?
If I remember right,
Body or something.
Yeah, it was Z Boogie, I want to say was the name, but I didn't actually exert the effort to go look for sure. And
I guess this is one of the things that Ellering helped him with too, was their Zubaz business. I think they got that off the line with him. The Road Warriors involved in that with him in some way. I know they was making money off of him.
Oh yeah.
endorsing them, wearing them, being seen in them, whatever you had to do. They were over.
Those dudes were, those dudes were at the gym all the time. Why wouldn't you want them wearing your clothes if it's a long you're trying to get off? Yeah, I mean, Jesus Christ. But could you imagine like being in a hurry to put up this fucking clothing line? Like, my God, pal, we got to get these ugly giant pants out there. The world needs giant pants.
That's good shit.
More zebra stripe. More zebra stripe.
Oh, man. Well, let's move on to number 2. Just another match. Wait, you got something more?
No.
You're stuck in the 90s? What?
Well, yeah, I got to bring up, you know what else you can do with a fanny pack? You can carry a book in there, Bobby.
Oh, man. I used to carry my passport in mine, but yeah, I guess, I've been really thinking about getting a fanny pack again, to be honest with you. Now that I'm wearing glasses pretty much in a regular, get a case, carry them around. I can carry my wallet. I got a bad motherfucker wallet. That's what I carry. It says bad motherfucker. It's from Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
I can put my car keys in there. But also I'm going to carry my book in there. I got 2 books. I'm just going to get a fanny pack to carry one at a time, though, okay? So Professor has taken the time to put up these 2 little shortcuts to get either one of my books. My first book is called Pin Me, Pay Me, Have Boost Will Travel, and you can get that by going to tinyurl.com/blazebook1. And it talks all about me being a Smoky Mountain wrestler. It talks about me being up in Canada, over in South Africa. Nelson Mandela walked right beside me in the airport with the security. That's a straight shoot, man.
That's incredible.
That's wild to know. To Australia, being all over there, big tour over there, Wrestle Riot tour. Japan, 5 different tours. I talk about several of the things that happened on some of those tours, the guys in the town I got to wrestle with there. It's just a really, good insight into someone, that did all right for himself, coming from where I came from in the professional wrestling business. And I tell a few funny stories in there. My other book's a bit more about life after wrestling. It has a lot of wrestling stories in it and wrestling-related things in it about, how younger guys, especially a younger guy, could really learn from my second book, The Education Wrestler. I kicked out on 2, The Education Wrestler, because it has stuff about backstage politics and, just how to get yourself over, putting out publicity on yourself and stuff like we've talked about in the past here. And it's got a couple stripper stories in it, believe it or not. And I might have been wearing my Zubaz pants when I was with the stripper. Not that I was with the stripper. I spoke to someone that was an exotic dancer. That's what she told me she did when she wasn't at the library signing my library card for me.
Well, yeah, she was getting her. She was going to college, putting herself through college, going to be a nurse.
Yeah, I've paid for several nurses over many times. Anyway, that book, The Educational Wrestler, I kicked out on 2. Got me stumbling over the damn title of it. Anyway, damn exotic stripper. Okay, get that book at tinyurl.com/blazebook2. You can get those books on Amazon, but honestly, if you go through the tinyurl.com/blazebook1 for Pin Me, Pay Me, or tinyurl.com/blazebook2 for I Kicked Out on 2, and the show here, the program, this podcast gets a little bit of kickback. And I mean, it's just a little bit, but you know what? Every little bit helps. And that's what Jeremy and I are trying to build up here, is just a really nice podcasting group of people. We've got some good people that follow us on Twitter. And do yourself a favor. Holiday season will be coming up quicker than what you think. If you've already got my book and you know someone probably over the age of 18, get them one of my books. That'd be a nice gift for them, because there is adult language and adult content in both books, as referred to the stripper story. And I still think, I don't know, the older I get, maybe not, but I guess one day if they find me, I'll just probably have a fucking Big Mac wrapper on my head and a stripper beside me, and she's going, I don't know what the fuck happened. I'm leaving this guy. I want that greasy meat all over my face, Yeah,
it's
my story's called a dying with a smiling with a dialing, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. If you're going to go, you might as well go like that, shot in the, an 85-year-old man shot in the head by the husband of your jealous lover or whatever, there's no better way to go. I've been told before, Bobby, I have a very cavalier attitude towards life and death.
Yeah, I know a guy named Lucky. And I asked him why he called him Lucky. You know that one, don't you?
I do.
The neighbor walked in and shot him right in the ass. And he said, why you call him Lucky? He said, because he had been there 5 minutes sooner, he'd have shot me in the head. But anyway.
Oh, God.
What do you say, Lucky? Where are you going to, Lucky?
Well, we're going to go to number 2. This one was one of your suggestions, so I'm going to lean on you a little bit for this one. But it's the Road Warriors versus the Fabulous Ones. Tell us about it, Bobby.
Okay, so I went back and just watched this one here recently too, and Cornette he's got a watch along out there. If you listen to this week's episode of the Drive Through or whichever one to experience, whichever, and he's got me as a follower, so I'm sure he don't need to be pumping up his podcast, but I'm definitely a fan of his, the Cult of Cornette out there. But I've watched this one before. It's just really one of them funny matches you have to watch because apparently this is like the first time and this is when it's the Fabulous One is Steve Kern. If you don't know, which I'm surprised if anyone on this show, listens to our podcast, doesn't know because we've got our great educated crowd out there. And Steve Kern. And I think they're in Minneapolis for their first return match into their hometown in the AWA. And I've heard a couple of different ways, but basically, Stan and Steve stand in the ring, and the Warriors there, and Hawk says, "Do it our way," And I guess Kern didn't hear him. He's looking around or just kind of, just ready to have a good match, whatever. And he says, "Huh?" or "What?" Something like that. Like when he's questioned, like, "What?" Like, "What do you mean?" And I think the word is, the Hawk, he took it as, oh, him and Animal just started beating the fuck and laying into him. Hawk was like, he said, "Do it our way." When he said, "Huh?" or "What?" he took it like they're questioning. He was just like he didn't actually hear him because of crowd noise or he's looking off or whatever. And so I guess Hawk gloms Steve, and then Animal comes over and he's just grabbing Stan. And of course, I guess within a couple punching and laying in minutes, Kern caught on real quick that he fucking meant like, "Yeah, what do you mean? Hold on here, let's work," whatever. But I know within a couple forearms or so, Stan was like, "Hey, brother, we're doing it your way. I'm doing it your way." If it just a quick amount of time, everyone heard what was said quite clear. We're doing it your way, It's on YouTube, and I just thought it was a little funny match to put something funny towards the end of the podcast.
Here's the thing. So I put myself in the head of Steve Kern and, Stan Lane, and here's what I think is happening in their heads right before all this shit goes down, right? So Steve Kern, like, he's hanging out in the ring there, and he's like, "Hey, man, fuck, look at that brunette in the second row."
Exactly.
Yeah, shit, man, the rats are fucking hot tonight. Huh? And then he goes down, and then Stan Lane's watching this. He's like, maybe yacht racing is really the industry I should get into. Because I don't want any fucking part of this, what's happening right now, man.
I do know that watch along. Cornette mentioned that when it's Bobby and Stan wrestling the Road Warriors there, I think I can't remember what the exact angle was, working up for the one of the bashes or something, and he said Stan, is in there thinking, he's still thinking about the beating up in Minnesota or whatever, So he's out there like, whatever you want to do, I'll do it, But of course, like I said, they did sell Florida Midnight Express because that was a money making idea. That's how you get over. They had learned by that time. We ain't got to kill you guys. We'll work with you.
Yep.
Unlike what happened up in that match there when he went, "Huh?" or "What?" Like I said, look, that's the way I've heard it too. Anyway, Jeremy, I've had a great time. We're at our number one here, man. There's a lot to cover in this number one. I'm gonna let you do it. I just know this, man. This was R.I.P. Road Warrior Animal. But it was so to do because I want to make sure, that we remember the good stuff, man, not the sad time that this man has, passed away. But Jeremy finished up with number one, and that's titles. And the question is, and we think it is, are they the most decorated team out there, most decorated tag team out there? That's our number one. And Jeremy, the professor here, is going to tell us a little bit about their titles that they had before we wrap things up here on the Bell to Bell Bobby Blaze podcast. Jeremy, thank you so much. I had fun with this episode, but also thank the professor for doing this research and tell us a little bit about these titles, please.
All right. So this started on Thursday. I texted Bobby, because I was sitting there thinking, I'm like, so the Dudley Boys have WCW, WWE, ECW gold, and TNA gold. And that makes them the most decorated tag team ever, right? We've all agreed on this. But the Road Warriors have Japanese, they have NWA, WCW, AWA, and I just kept going down the list. I texted Bobby, I'm like, hey, do we know how many titles that the Road Warriors carried? He gets back to me, an hour later, he sends me a link to Animal talking about it. So they held 14 different titles. That's not to say they had 14 title reigns. They held 14 different belts in some combination. I'm going to do a quick reading here of just ones I could quickly assemble. NWA International Tag Team Championship. That's a Japanese belt. They are the only team to ever defend them outside of Japan. IWS World Tag Team Champions. AWA World Tag Team Champions. Fighting World of Japan Pro Wrestling World Tag Team Champions. Georgia Championship Wrestling. National Tag Team Champions at Georgia Championship Wrestling. The iGeneration Tag Team Champion. They were two-time champions there. They were four-time national champions at Georgia. Independent Pro Wrestling, they were the IPW Tag Team Champions. Jim Crockett Promotions, they were six-man Tag Team Champions 3 times with Dusty Rhodes and twice with Tenryu. They were NWA World Tag Team Champions Mid-Atlantic version once. They were Iron Man Team Tournament winners once. They were Jim Crockett Senior Cup winners once. They held the WWF Tag Titles twice. Now, in Japan, there was a team made up of a guy calling himself Power Warrior and Hawk Warrior, which was Hawk, and I can't think of the guy's name right now, but he was one of their on-again regular six-man tag and tag partners. They held the New Japan Pro IWGP Tag Championship twice. Legion of Doom 2005, which is Animal and Heidenreich, they were one-time WWE champions. And in, I don't know what year this was, they were Road Warrior, Animal, and Power Warrior were UWA World Tag Team Champions once. I think the argument is easily made that the Road Warriors are the most decorated tag team ever.
Yes.
Quite simply.
Yeah, I agree. And also, for what it's worth, yes, they're in the WWE Hall of Fame. They got there in 2011, and who inducted them, Jeremy?
Dusty Rhodes.
The man who they tried to turn him heel, and it wouldn't take.
Just
wouldn't take.
Just wouldn't
And here
work.
he is, years later, inducting them to the WWE Hall of Fame. And like you said, they are not probably, we're going to say they are the most decorated tag team out there, and they probably deserve, or they do deserve to be in every Hall of Fame there is. And as you put it here, how did you word that, Jeremy? You said, don't be sad it's over. Just be glad it happened. And you're talking earlier in this program, during 40 years of our life, we got to see the daggone Road Warriors, man. That's pretty damn awesome, especially for pro wrestling fans.
Yeah. That's how I wanted to close it. I mean, it's a sad thing that he's gone. I definitely, my heart goes out to his family. But, we've got the video, we've got memories, we got to live while the Road Warriors were a team, and that's pretty fucking cool.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Well, I'm going to go ahead and say one more thing before we wrap it up here, and I'll let you close this out, okay?
Sure thing.
Once again, I had a great time doing this episode. I tried to have a good sense of humor about it, and we had something else. Once again, we'll work on for next week, and we booted that back a week due to this passing of Animal. And this was real fun to research and real fun to do. I appreciate you taking the time to do this podcast with me and do the research with me and send each other links and stuff back and forth. Anyway, we'll go back to another top 10 next week when you join us here on the Bell to Bell Bobby Blaze podcast. Do yourself, and I have to tell myself this, as much as I'm telling you fans, I'm telling myself this, man. Be kind to yourself, man. Things are crazy out there right now. I'm just going to say this is what I've been doing. I'm trying to do the best I can, and that's try to be more kind to yourself. When I'm out, when I do go out, I'm wearing a mask. I'm going to be social distancing. I'm going to wash my hands. I'm going to try to do the best I can, and in my own head, I'm going to try to be kind to myself. Be good to each other out there, people, but also be good to yourself. So that's what I like to say, Professor. Thank you once again.
Yeah. So with that, for Tex Johnson, myself, Professor Jeremy Vilmer, and Bobby Blaze, bye-bye, everybody. Hey, Bobby, real quick, I got a question here.
Yeah.
I saw a thing where it was saying that guys would show up to like a local show, they'd like wrestlers from the area, they'd show up and they'd look at the board and they'd see that they were teamed with somebody else to fight the Road Warriors, and then they would just turn around and leave. I wonder who the biggest tag team that ever did that was. I mean, is there like a name tag team?
I don't know, man.
No, fuck that.
Yeah.